But a lot of people talking about what are our feelings. Now, I haven't played the Order 1886 yet. Raise your fist. You've got a PlayStation 4, and I know Alpha Omegason has one as well. Did you get a hold of this thing yet?
Yeah, press X to disappoint. What a fucking piece of shit. That is a classic example of there is no doubt in my mind that when the first information about this game materialized, they started with a cutscene and then built a game around it. There's no question in my mind. Somebody made a cool steampunky looking cutscene, and then Sony was like, we'll take a game of that. And so they did it. There's no question. Absolutely none. And like, the length controversy, I'm more of shit is shit. Like, it's more. You're asking for more of a bad game. We're to that point, ladies and gentlemen, in the industry where there's so few games, especially for next-gen consoles, that we're literally begging for more of the worst dreck you could ever be subjected to in your ever-living life.
Well, no, please go on, Mr. Omegason.
I was just going to say, I was always vocal about the whole game length debate because all of us grew up from the NES era going forward. We got to go and have our parents go to the store and buy games that can be beaten within a couple of minutes. Fully and completely, assuming you know how and you're pretty fucking badass. Like, one of the coolest games on NES is Kung Fu. You can beat Kung Fu in like 2 minutes. And,
but then you want to do it again.
Yeah, but it's a fun game. I don't give a shit how long a game is. I understand I'm paying $60 for a game going in. I understand that 100%. If I, like, right there, I've got a fucking lollipop chainsaw cardboard cutout, and that game is only like 4 or 5 hours long. It's a pretty short game. I didn't give a shit because I had fun playing it. And then I went through and played it again. I've played plenty of short games. Shit, Rhapsody: A Musical Adventure is one of the shortest RPGs I can think of. You can clear it in about 8 hours. Didn't care because it was actually a good game. Who gives a fuck about game length so long as you're being entertained, since that's the entire foundation to a video game?
It's just weird. It's weird because the public consensus appears to be, oh, it's a pretty game, but it lasts 5 seconds, and it's just more of what you've been treated to in the last generation. And I'm like, what games in the last generation? It's like last generation. It's like somebody played Resident Evil 4, and it's like, oh, so this is the game that we're going to make. Like, basically, it's outdated, antiquated mechanics. I mean, just cutscenes out the ass, and I apologize for insulting implicitly Resident Evil 4 there, because Resident Evil 4 on its worst day is like 10 billion times the game Order 1886 is. But, I mean, it's just so antiquated, and then you get this kind of misnomer of, oh, it's so fucking beautiful. And it's like, did we play the same game? Because it seems like it's got ugly textures, and, like, I remember playing the fucking, you're in the warehouse, and you have to set the coffins on fire. There's all these vampires in a warehouse, and you have to set their coffins on fire to kill them. And, like, this flat, like, PS2 era fire texture comes flying out of the coffin, and what do the game developers do to make it look pretty? They slap a bunch of fucking bloom and lens flare on it, and they're like, that'll cover it up. And then people are like, 10 out of 10, best looking game I've ever seen in my life. You have glaucoma. You're crazy. That game is ugly at times, incredibly ugly actually. It's just, they cover it in so much fog and dog shit that you don't realize it looks bad.